Hi, what's your idea of success? I mean, is it doing well in your job, doing well in your business, doing well in your, I don't know, family, making sure you've got enough of wealth, enough of money to provide for yourself and your family? Is that your measurement and your idea of success? When you say somebody is successful, are you looking for somebody who's got it all, has all the money to provide for himself and his family and generations to come? Is that your measurement for success? If that is it, then you're in for a bit of a shock, because that's not God's idea of success for your life. And that matters. God's thought and God's mind and God's will, purpose matters for you. You see, God's will for your life is mentioned in Romans 8:29. He says that you were predestined. To be predestined means to be pre-planned for, to have an end goal prepared from beforehand for. God has prepared an end goal for you from beforehand. And the end goal that He has prepared for you from beforehand is that you be conformed, He says in that very verse, conformed to the image of Christ. That you may be a brother of Jesus. That's what He says, that Jesus may be the firstborn among many brethren. Now, that is the privilege that you and I get. The will of God for your life, the purpose for your life, the plan that He has for your life is that you be a brother of Jesus, conformed to His image, walking just like Him. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that beautiful? Because that is God's will for your life. Now, here's the deal. Whatever you're doing, whether it's your job, your career, your marriage, your family, your home, whatever else needs to line up to this will. What do I mean by that? I mean that anything else that you're doing, if it doesn't help or aid you to walk according to this will, then is not really leading you to true success. Because true success is doing the will of God. Now, if the will of God is for me to be conformed to His image, to the image of Christ, a lot of the work is already done, in the sense of the moment I come under the lordship of Jesus, my spirit is conformed to His image. But there's a whole other part of me, which is my mind, my soul, my emotions, and my body, that need to be conformed to the image of Christ. That's why Paul, in his letter to the Romans, he says, do not be conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Which means my mind needs renewing, my mind needs training, my mind and me, I need to be trained, I need to be coached and trained, and I need to strive to start walking like Jesus. Which means I've got to start changing my mindsets. I've got to start changing the way I think about the world, the way I think about things around me, situations around me, the way I react needs to start changing. I've got to be busy, and my passion needs to start being to heal the sick, raise the dead, cast out demons, and make disciples. That's what Jesus would have done, and that's what Jesus was busy doing, and that's what I need to be busy doing. Now, as far as my business, my career, and everything else needs to line up to this. So if it's not helping me, make sure that I'm well provided for, so that I can be busy focusing on the mission that has been entrusted as a son, and busy focusing on growing up as a son, and making sure that I am laboring to change things within myself, to conform, to transform, and start walking like Jesus, then those things are not really leading me to success. Now, don't get me wrong, they might lead you to the world's idea of success, but not the real success. Because you can have lots and lots and lots of money, and you can have lots and lots of businesses, and you can have lots and lots of cars, and you can have lots and lots of things. But listen, if you're not a son, you're a slave and an enemy of God. You're in death, you're in chains, you're in darkness, you're under the influence of the enemy. 1 John 4:19 says, the whole world lies under the sway of the wicked one. You're under the sway of the wicked one. And if you say you're not, and that you're a Christian, that you've been baptized, that you've come under the lordship of Jesus Christ, but you're still not walking according to the will of God, then you are one of those people who has decided but is still walking like the world. It's time we change. We've got to have a different thing that needs to be the will of God for our life, a different passion. That passion needs to be the will of God for my life. That focus needs to be the will of God for my life. That needs to drive me. That needs to push me. That also means if I'm listening to pastors and preachers that are not aiding me, helping me to walk like Christ, I'm listening to the wrong people. I mean, the will of God is not some secret, mysterious thing anymore that I need to consult some special prophet to try and get a detailed plan of what God is going to do in my life or what He wants me to do. No, what He wants you to do is very clear, to walk like Jesus. And everything in your life needs to conform to that. That's what the Word of God calls maturity. You've got to mature into Christ. If you do not mature into Christ, then you are just like everybody else in the world, walking like the world. This is what the deal is. The whole world lies under the sway of the wicked one, which means the whole world is walking blind. Yes, we're making our inventions and advancements in technology and all those things, but that's still blindness, because we don't know where we're headed. And it's time you start knowing where you're headed and redirecting your course to where you are supposed to be headed. A son just like Jesus. So that everything in your life is now reoriented to walk like Him, and His mission becomes your mission, and His passion becomes your passion. And everything else is second on the list of priorities, so that everything else starts lining up or aiding and supporting you to be doing this, rather than you focusing on everything else and still claiming to be Christian. Let's not play this whole modern Christian hypocrite game again. Let us walk like Jesus expects us to walk, as a son, submitted to His will by walking just like